Virgos, welcome and welcome back to the Honey Sea Star Tarot, and welcome to the week of September 14th through the 19th. I tacked Sunday onto this reading because of Mercury cazimi. Let me tell you, this week is packed full of a lot of change. It's a lot of focus on finances. There's a lot of focus on your career in a lot of ways too. Big thing is finances. I'm not even going to try and sugarcoat that in any different way. But the biggest thing here too is we also have a kite formation. We've got Mercury entering Libra. We also have Venus entering Virgo in our first house. And biggest thing in this week, especially with all these things going on between focuses of change, finances, career, partnerships, kite formation, Mercury changing signs, Venus changing signs, there is a call for a new direction or just new directions just in general. But before we get started, I just want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you for all your love and support and truly all your birthday wishes. Oh my goodness, you make a girl melt. I'm so sorry I haven't had a chance to respond back to comments yet. I don't want to make it all about me right away, but basically I got to have, Saturn's been challenging some business partnerships when it comes to home front. So I'm certainly getting to uncover and work through those aspects. I was very grateful for Mercury cazimi, but I'm recording this Sunday morning. I've been having a few upheavals on the home front basically that I've had to work through. So I apologize. I haven't been able to dedicate my time to you guys, but truly I love each and every one of you guys so much. Truly, you guys know how to lift a girl up, lift each other up, lift this channel, this family up. And I am so incredibly grateful for each and every one of you, and I love you back. So, like I was saying, getting into it right away with this weekend. I hope you guys all had a happy Mercury cazimi. Happy birthday to all my September 13th. And for this week, anyone who's got a birthday between the 14th and the 19th, happy birthday to you guys, truly. This week is exciting. There's a lot to do with money on the table. But walking right into the 14th, we are also greeted with a half moon. Oh my goodness, thank you. A half moon in Gemini. Now the half moon, and talk about it, it's like Mercury cazimi. We've got Jupiter sextile with the moon, Mercury and the sun here as of the 13th. Then all of a sudden we've got this half moon in Gemini. Gemini is our fellow sign that's ruled by Mercury. Now we're coming into a half moon in Gemini that's sextile with Venus. Keep in mind, Venus is in Leo in our 12th house of spirituality. The half moon is also trine with Mars, which is in Libra in our second house. And the half moon is also square with the Sun, Mercury, and Saturn. Talk about a big day and a big half moon. Remember, the half moons are really all about this halfway point, a square aspect in a lot of ways as well, where it creates this push-pull. But in a good way in this case with the sextile with Venus and also the trine with Mars. We'll get into the square aspect with Saturn. Like I say, if you guys are like me, where you're kind of seeing Saturn illuminate some challenges with partnerships, and it's in a good way, it's for the benefit. It basically is showing you who's really aligned with you, who maybe is not necessarily as genuine as you maybe have understood. Or this is just helping enlighten that, I guess. Anything that's disingenuous. And with Mercury in there too, it has a lot to do with communication. So there's some hard needed conversations here. We'll get into it. So right away, with this half moon in our 10th house, being square with the sun and Mercury in our first house, that's career, that's self-identity. There's an emphasis on the need to make a decision to get new info regarding your career. So your logic and your desire for control may clash with new or rapidly changing information that's coming in, and it may cause a bit of anxiety. So I'm just going to say right away with this half moon, adaptability and flexibility are really going to be key, especially in finding and also discerning alternatives to a recent plan or change that needs further consideration. So like I say, it's illuminating, but it's for your benefit. It's just going to come across as a little uncomfortable. So just breathe in, breathe out, practice some grounding, get into nature, because Mercury is still giving you those downloads at this point. You're still feeling that energy, and it's going to help you with problem solving and working through, receiving the guidance through anything that you're currently going through. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. But this is where, with Venus's sextile, Venus is going to come in and soften these challenges. So if you had an upheaval like I kind of did on Mercury Gazini, in a good way, like I say, challenges, yes, but it's good to know who your friends are and who's not, right? So this is where I'm just laughing. It's either laugh or cry. I'm going to choose to laugh at the moment. But Venus is coming in to kind of soften this challenge a little bit. And you may even see, with Venus's help here, a blessing come in of a positive conversation or a collaborative idea that comes from an unexpected source. So if there was something that kind of came up as an upheaval like I had, this is where something new, a new sudden change is coming in with Venus's help. And remember, Venus in our 12th house of spirituality, that's hidden strength, psychic abilities, intuition, revealing of hidden enemies in a lot of ways as well, but getting into creative flow. And she's bringing in a collaborative idea that truly comes from an unexpected source. So it's very similar and tied with Uranus in some ways too. The trine with Mars is also going to be providing a clear channel to act on decisions, especially if they have to do with finances and self-worth. So the main thing today is that square with Saturn. It's going to create pressure between your career aspirations and your commitments or contracts, and it's going to demand you know what I meant. Saturn is going to demand accountability with a reality check to ensure that your business relationships, your commitments, your contracts, your partnerships are truly built on a solid foundation. So like I say, it's kind of uncomfortable. However, it's really meant in a good way. It's demanding accountability. It's seeing things for as they are, and that includes people that maybe were a bit deceptive or disingenuous. It's truly making sure that there's a reality check, that everything is coming to the forefront so that you can challenge the partnerships that aren't necessarily for you, don't have best intentions, and more importantly, that you're aligning with the ones that are built on a solid foundation. So don't be surprised if there's a mature conversation that may need to take place with Saturn square, but Venus and Mars are offering guidance in finding solutions, proactivity, diplomacy, so that you can navigate truth with maturity and utilize your intuition in making key decisions. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, because I totally felt this energy when I was doing the astrology. I'm like, oh my goodness, that makes sense, because one of my birthday presents that came in was not so birthday friendly. And right away, that's where it's like when the Ten of Wands came out, especially with Saturn here, I tried to focus on the notes and not laugh a little bit with this one. But this is where Spirit is really saying the load is temporary. It's gonna feel anxiety. It's gonna feel a little pressure. It's gonna feel like a little exhaustion with the overload aspects. Excessive responsibility. You may be tempted or have people trying to tempt you to take on responsibilities that aren't yours. And if that resonates like I experienced, by all means, not try and make it all about me, but put a heart in the comments below. Share your thoughts, because this is where the truth is really coming forward. This is also, too, where you're looking at things. What's in the present, the problems that you're facing. And you're looking at the wisdom that you've gained along the road. And so there might have been times in the past, especially with those South Node expressions here, even earlier this year with Virgo, with the South Node being in Virgo, where you may have not voiced concern. Now it's like you're looking at that with wisdom, and you're like, no, wait a minute. I see the red flags. I'm not willing to not speak up on them. I'm not willing to self-sacrifice either. This is my pinnacle of success. I've learned these lessons. I don't need to go through them again. I'm writing a new narrative. I'm going to voice this, and I know my rights. I know my worth. That's what all of this is bringing in. So it's absolutely gorgeous energy. It's very teaching, and it's if you look at it, it's kind of like a test, just to see, you know, how much have you learned. You need to go through that self-worth aspect, especially with Mars, Libra, second house, right? That's your self-worth. You're your biggest asset. Income, salary, how it affects your finances. This is helping you in a lot of ways with having those mature conversations that need to take place, and offering you guidance and finding solutions with diplomacy, with proactivity to navigate any type of disruptions or surprises. But this is where with the King of Pentacles, again, I mean, it's really about that self-regulation, that self-control, and like I say, that diplomacy. Also to the financial management, but it's an emphasis on security. So if in the past you were sacrificing your security for the needs of others, this is where you're kind of looking at that and you're like, no, wait a minute. A wise person once told me, and it took me a long time to learn this, so Virgo South Node for me in lessons, but you got to take care of yourself first, right? You can't take on the problems of the world. It's the same thing without making sure that you're okay first, without making sure that your foundation is stable. You can't sacrifice your stability, your safety, knowing who you are, your strength, in a lot of ways, especially as it connects to the physical world, especially as it connects to the material world, for the sake of others, just because you're trying to be nice, right? People will walk all over you, and not trying to make it all about me. It was a rough day. I'm sorry, guys. But this is truly where it's like, no, wait a minute, I'm sorry. I got to make sure I'm okay before I can actually, I can't put myself out just to make you happy, right? I can't sacrifice my own well-being just so that you're comfortable and there's an easier solution, when really the accountability falls on your side. So it's really about making things right and allowing other people as well through their lessons to make things right from their side if there was a disingenuous injustice that occurred. So this also has a lot to do with Virgo and energy, remaining grounded during volatility, and then also too that voice when it comes to Leo. That's really true. I mean, that speaks a lot to Venus. It's softening the approach. It's softening aspects with solutions. Truly taking on the challenges with proactivity, with maturity, but with emotional regulation, especially when it comes to utilizing your intuition with that Geminian moon, with making key decisions that are going to impact you, impact your security, your material success, your ability to be a provider for your family, for yourself, but also for your inner peace, right? That strong and steady financial management, enterprising, pragmatic planning, not just doing things on a whim, especially if there's a bit of chaos that comes in. This has a lot to do with that earth energy balancing out that fire energy. Because remember, in the middle, I always go back to a prairie fire. Fire is so amazing when it comes to putting nutrients into the soil, especially nitrogen. Clearing out the brush, right? Making sure that the soil is ready with that potash as well, with all that carbon for new growth. And so with endings, it's always disguised as new beginnings. And that's what this beautiful place of purification, I guess is how I would put it, of what a prairie fire can really do. And it reminds you in a lot of ways too of your strength. Remember, the sun is the best card in the tarot deck. So right off the bat, I will say for this week, it's going to come in a little interesting way. The sun, though, you'll see this take place here on the 15th like no other. So Venus, Leo, 12th house again, sextile with Mars in Libra in the second house. So this sextile is enabling you to channel and translate your creative instincts into financial gains. This will also tie into the solutions that are being clearly channeled to you from all that activity with the half moon in Gemini, through the downloads you've been receiving from Mercury Cazimi as well. Because remember, it's very grounded energy with Mercury being at home in Virgo. So with this sextile between Venus and Mars, they very much like each other in these aspects when they're working together. This is your heart's desire, tied with your spirituality, also tied to your worth, to your income, to your finances, to your long-term aspirations, long-term goals. So there's a very big channeling and cooperation between your creative instincts and how you're problem solving, what you're manifesting in a lot of ways as well. And it's going to lead to financial gains. It also will be bringing in your inner alignment closer to your values, your ambitions. And so it's kind of like zooming out to say, wait a minute, okay, the shorthand of the problems that I'm seeing, now I get like, yes, they're temporary, but more importantly, let's look at the long haul when I problem solve. And so by promoting that inner harmony, that alignment with your values, boosting your self-worth, it's really going to be helping you with attracting wealth and abundance with your frequency. And remember, this is the time, especially if you've got challenges like that, you know, and at a macro level, what I always look at is like, and you can see it manifest so prolifically, unfortunately, like through news, through social media, through even YouTube, what comes up on your feed through the algorithms. If there's things that you've never, like if you turn on YouTube in the morning, just saying, or the news in the morning, think about what you're receiving right away. Unfortunately, there is a reason why it may seem like you're being bombarded with negativity. There's a reason. It's dimming your vibration. So it's up to you to really focus on elevating your vibration so that you can align with the laws of attraction when it comes to receiving your abundance, your wealth, and what you deserve. Now is the time to follow your intuition at a macro level and at a micro level, but it's really connecting you to your deepest values, especially with Mars here, because your inner world and your public ambitions with this sextile between Venus and Mars are coming into perfect alignment on the 15th. Like I say, it's all about the Sun card. This is jubilation, raising your vibration, looking at your vitality, your prosperity, what you're calling in with enthusiasm, what you're manifesting with confidence, knowing your worth, and also leading with your compassion, knowing what helps make you content, what you value most in material, in wealth, in health, and when it comes to your vitality, what fills your bucket as opposed to drains your bucket. And again, it goes into that Mercury Cazimi with Soul's Temple coming in here right away. This is downloads about truly connecting to Source, especially with Venus being in our 12th house, especially with our crown being ignited in a lot of ways too. And remember the 19, that reduces to a 1. This is your beginning. This is your fresh start, especially with all these retrogrades, all the transformations. A lot of the things that you're birthing are at the new phases. This is attaining your success that's truly meant for you. Don't lose sight of that. And this sextile is going to reconnect you with that. Like I say, your inner world and your outer world are in perfect alignment, and they're aligning to your values, your self-worth, your lion heart energy when it comes to your spirituality and pouring your heart's desires into your long-term goals. This also has a lot to do with the Hanged Man, right? The spiritual growth, truly understanding the prophecy that you manifest in your life. So if your trust is being tested, if you're looking at, aspects basically of involuntary change, unconventional ideas are going to help you. New perspectives are going to help you. Keeping your vibration and your frequency high. Because remember, as your heart electromagnetic frequency is aligned to what you manifest, what you think about, you literally bring about. What you feel about is truly how to manifest in such a faster way. Because your electromagnetic field, that vibration of your heart, when you truly feel it, you gotta feel what you're manifesting, right? You can't just wish for it. That is what the universe has no other opportunity to other than to mirror it and to align to it and to send it right back to you. So truly, this is the day that's going to help you with being cognizant of that and truly empowering you with just how powerful you are when it comes to your alignment. Follow your intuition, especially with that third eye here as well. And then too, Neptune popped out in here as well. And remember, Neptune's retrograde is all about realigning you to your dream life, building it in every single day in the here and now, in all your authenticity, just being you and holding on to what you value most. And if that resonates, like I say, share your thoughts in the comments below, because this, with a 12, it reduces to a 3. It's all about your communication, your creativity, your synthesis when it comes to finding that balance between what you hold most dear and expressing it in your outer world, aligning your inner world and your outer world, your public world, public life, public ambitions together, so that what you see, what you feel on the inside is truly what you experience in your exterior world. And if that resonates, like I say, put a heart in the comments below, like, share, subscribe, because the 16th is truly going to be a big day. So the first couple of days this week are still aligned with Jupiter in a lot of ways. And remember, with that Mercury cazimi, the Sun, Mercury are both sextile with Jupiter. That's in the 11th house. Hopes, wishes, dreams, social networks, humanitarian efforts, community support. On the 16th, the moon is in Cancer, and it's going to be sextile with the Sun. It's going to be sextile with Mercury. It's going to be conjunct with Jupiter. So amplified Jupiter, just saying. And trine with Saturn. Now, just to forewarn you, the moon in Cancer, which, remember, the moon is at home with Cancer. The moon rules Cancer. That's all about your emotions. It is going to be square with Mars. So there's this emotional worth situation going on. So let's talk about all the positives. So with the sextiles, the conjunction, the trine, with Jupiter, Mercury, the Sun, and Saturn, there's stability and support coming through with committed bonds today. In this, there's stability and support basically with, through those commitments that are really tying into your closest relationships, being manifested in your closest relationships, in your business partnerships, and also your social circles. And in all of those aspects, your closest relationships, business partnerships, social circle, just in general, they're radiating compassion and alignment. They're aligning you to your true self. So there's support coming in such a beautiful way. As I was saying before, though, with Mars action, right? Your emotions and your actions are truly in sync between the Sun, Mercury, Jupiter, and Saturn. It's at a level between you and your relationships, your commitments, your contracts, that is shared when it comes to your goals and your emotional depth. But the moon and Mars will be creating a tension and a potential conflict around your finances and your personal values. So just to forewarn you, you may feel compelled to spend money on things that bring pleasure or to appease others. Watch the self-sacrifice. And just to forewarn you, it'll be an impulse-driven kind of activity or action. It'll be driven by either satisfying your emotional needs or to maintain a harmony in your partnerships at all cost. I'll say that again. So just beware. At all costs. It's not about saving anybody else. This will be a day that'll tempt you. Financial management and discipline will be key in making sure that your spending is aligned with your core values so that you're not paying the price, literally, through self-sacrifice. And instead, make the time needed for the honest conversations that need to happen instead, right? So don't just try and solve it by taking the accountability that's not meant to be yours. Have the crucial conversations that are needed by focusing on strengthening ties with like-minded individuals instead of those who are asking too much of you. This is where your connections, the ones that are truly aligned to you, will lead you to new opportunities that are built on clear communication, mutual understanding, commitment to responsible actions, and trust. So this is another one where Saturn will be uncovering and illuminating who's genuine and who's disingenuous. With the Eight of Swords coming out though in reverse, this is going to be an awakening. This is also going to be breaking free and liberating yourself, seeing a lot of freedom when it comes to freeing yourself from injustices. So like I say, this is all about making sure that your spending is aligned to your core values, not sacrificing yourself for the sake of peace in a lot of ways, not taking on others' responsibility. It's really aligning and illuminating in a lot of ways. Situations, partnerships, commitments, contracts, legal matters that will lead you to new opportunities, but more importantly, that are built on a solid foundation that really embodies and ambassadors clear communication, mutual understanding, commitment with responsible actions, but the biggest thing is trust. And your third eye is going to be guiding you during this time as well. There's a lot of Geminian energy with this focus as well. So remember, Geminian energy has this ability to adapt, to flow with grace. So what it really speaks to in a lot of ways, what I really admire most about Geminis is that they have the ability to look at something, to look at an issue, look at a problem, look at a detail, just in general, particularly as it revolves around communication, like minds, with being open to new perspectives, but it's like literally looking at something from all angles, from the top, the bottom, the sides, even a diagonal aspect. They are looking at things and embracing all dualities with an open mindset. But by doing that, they're able to fully understand, like in a lot of ways, the mechanics of the way things work. I guess I'm going to date myself here, but if you had the books and grew up with the books, the way things work like I did, that's what this comes to mind or brings to mind for me. So put a heart in the comments below. But by doing that, it gives you the wisdom, right? It gives you knowledge is power. Their ability to adapt with grace and flow through those dualities from that wisdom, that knowledge, really gives them a blessing and a leg up above all other signs, just like Jupiter's kiss is doing here. And it's leading to your stability, your prosperity. But it's also standing up for your justice in a lot of ways too. This is really looking at your return on investment, looking at how to succeed, how to really make the most out of your harvest, but also stand in your fortuity. And this is hermetic, right? It's infinity. It's the universal language that allows buckets to empty and flow with reciprocity in so many ways. And if that resonates, like I say, by all means, share your thoughts in the comments below, because we still have half a week to go. So on the 17th, I'm just going to tell you, this is an interesting day. And so it will be the 18th. And I know one of you guys has a birthday on the 18th. Happy birthday on the 18th. I promise it's not bad. Spoiler alert, we're going to have a kite. So this is not somebody telling you go fly a kite. This is not you telling someone else go fly a kite. This is a kite that actually grounds you with creative wings in such a beautiful way. But on the 17th, the moon is going to be moving over into Leo. And it happens to be trine with Neptune. It also happens to be sextile with Uranus and opposes Pluto. So what we've got activated here is Neptune aligning to our authenticity dream life. In Aries, action, initiation, in transformation. We've got a sextile working cooperatively with that harmony when it ties to our career, our honors, achievements, fame, reputation with Uranus and Gemini in our 10th house. The opposition with Pluto, which remember Pluto is in Aquarius in our 6th house, which is work, lifestyle, daily routines, health. Aquarius is all about aligning you to how you define success, channeling that inner spiritual warrior. So during this time as well, to add to the mix on the 17th, Mercury will also be opposing Saturn. Structure meets a challenge or an opposition with Mercury, our communication, our ruler, right? Our downloads. So there's a complex, There's a complex web happening here, astrologically speaking. particularly between Mercury and Saturn. And remember, Saturn is karma in a lot of ways. That's legacy, that's structure, that's wealth. This part here, this web, this complexity, will require you to balance self-expression with responsibility and to navigate some intense internal transformations. Between the oppositions with Pluto and Saturn, it'll be important to stay centered in your authenticity, align your intentions, speak clearly, because Mercury is going to be challenged, and exercise patience. Cannot stress that enough. This is where, as you can see, stay centered on moving from choppy waters into calm waters, and more importantly, your freedom, your focus of financial success, reaching your goals, reaching your period of prosperity, no matter what's challenging you when it comes to the Nine of Staffs. Perseverance will be key, patience will be key in such a big way. So, that being said, the biggest thing about this day that's going to test you is, one, patience, I know, but also, two, not taking on too much extra responsibility. So, there's going to be a sudden career opportunity that may come up involving new technology on the 17th, so mark your calendar. This with Uranus, the sextile with Neptune's trine, with the moon in Leo, that divine fire, center stage kind of aspect, you're being seen. There's a new opportunity, a shakeup that's happening. It's involving new technology in a lot of ways with Pluto here and there too. Innovation, breakthroughs when it comes to Uranus. And it's providing you a chance to reinvent your professional path in an innovative way. So something's coming in. Neptune is also going to be helping Uranus as well by connecting your intuition to this innovation with practical research, grounding when it comes to spiritual alignment, your path, your long-term goals, your authenticity, especially when it comes to money, contracts, and commitment. So, like I say, just mark this day on your calendar. It is a little complex. Communication's going to be a little challenged. But the ultimate thing about this is it's going to be a sudden change. It might feel a little uncomfortable, but it ultimately is aligning you towards your dreams, towards your prosperity in such a big way. But the battle is half won. So this is where something great is coming in the way where it's moving from a choppy place or choppy waters to a place of calm. May involve travel, may involve movement. Physical, spiritual, emotional, new job. Either way, what it's going to do is it's going to help you with overcoming a hardship and bringing you and aligning you to stability when it comes to money, contracts, commitments. This is where it's all about your prosperity. And like I say, this week has so much tied to your finances, your career. There's a new direction. It's a call for a new direction in so many ways. So with the 9 of coins here, this is really about focus on your wealth, family, financial freedom, reaching your long-term goals, really focusing on that Saturn energy, building your legacy, especially also too with the opposition with Mercury and Saturn, voicing that, balancing your self-expression with your responsibility when it comes to your goals, your long-term legacy, building your wealth, building your structure. It's going to help you with some very intense internal transformation. And it's going to require your willpower, your tenacity, your perseverance, and your moxie. Spirit is saying that this is really, truly a new beginning. It's an opportunity. It's going to involve in like a reinvention, innovation. But it's going to also require some practical research. So this isn't one of those things where you just dive in and say yes. It's where you're really going to ground it home with your Virgo energy. Embrace the complexities of what's happening. Understand it in a beautiful way so that you can really put some pragmatic planning towards it. Really look at how you're re-innovating, how you're really reinventing your professional path. It's going to provide you an open door, but it is going to require work. And it's right before, on the 18th, like I say, I'll do a separate read on this going into key dates, going into the season, but Mercury is going to be entering Libra on the 18th. So this is very beautiful in a lot of ways. Mercury's going to be in your second house, worth, income, salary. In Libra, balance, harmony, justice, going after what's yours. And Mercury is going to be standing there next to Mars, which is our go-getter planet when it's going after your just deserves, right? So there's going to be a strong connection between communication, diplomacy, and your finances at this time. And it's going to foster your talents when it comes to sales, negotiations, and money management. And if that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below, like, share, subscribe so that we can elevate this message. But these two will also be bringing in some pretty big opportunities, especially after the 17th, for wealth accumulation, especially when it comes to being through your business or new opportunities through business, career, and your financial management skills, and your marketing skills, your communication, how you sell yourself, how you truly claim and stand up for your worth. Everyone is going to feel this energy on the 18th. And it's not just Mercury, it's not just Mars, because we also have a few other things going on. So Mercury, there we go, will be opposing Neptune, trining Saturn, and trining Uranus and sextiling Pluto. So we will be seeing a kite formation, but like I say, normally a kite has a lot of tension, push-pull. This one, everyone is going to feel, but the core conflict with it is facing financial values versus your hidden fears. And this kite has some major grounding and creative wings attached to it, especially with the trines, especially with the sextile. There is that opposition when it comes to your authenticity though, right? So just pay attention to this one. It's got some dynamic tension. So the biggest piece of the dynamic tension where it's going to lie is between Mercury and Mars and Neptune's opposition. There we go. And between this tension, it's really going to be channeling and resolved by the trine and the sextile with Uranus and with Pluto. So Uranus and Pluto are really going to help with this tension. And like I say, with Mercury and Mars, there's this strong connection to voicing your worth, right? Your communication with diplomacy, focus on your finances. It's going to foster your sales negotiations, your negotiations to your commitments, your contracts, what you sign up for, how you manage your money. This is where, with Neptune, the challenge will be facing those hidden fears of truly voicing your concerns, voicing your worth, negotiating those financial values, putting a monetary number on all of that, right? So it's emotional too, but it's really standing up for your worth in a beautiful way. It's very empowering energy. And for Virgos, there is a high potential for financial transformation, especially with Saturn providing stability and long-term commitment, and also testing partnerships that lack integrity. So just be prepared. That's going to be part of this kite formation. It's going to be illuminating some things, same thing as that half moon in Gemini did with all of the activity on the 14th. This is where Uranus is going to also be helping us, offering a sudden change in your professional life to help resolve financial tensions. 2, Pluto is going to be empowering you to improve your well-being with your career ambitions and your financial growth. So especially with Neptune's I don't know why I can't say that word all of a sudden, opposition with Mercury and Mars. He's going to challenge any issues or hidden concerns around shared finances, around debt, around taxes, around loans, or around a partner's money. So another day to be careful of. The biggest thing about this day is watch out for self-deceptive situations where you may feel pulled to save or rescue another person's finances, basically. And by coming in to save the day, or like I say, self-sacrifice, same kind of aspects in the beginning as in the beginning of the week, this is really going to be the same issue. It's tied to it. This day with this kite, it's going to really challenge you by not being self-deceptive, I guess, when it comes to the situation that you're pulled into, that you encounter, the feeling or impulsion to save or rescue someone else, self-sacrifice to really balance out that partnership aspect and put yourself at conflict when it comes to financial aspects. So with this piece, just to kind of be aware, it may end up blurring important financial boundaries. So this is the time to truly weigh your options carefully. Confront illusions or confusion, especially if there's partnerships that aren't being straightforward, aren't centered on trust, truth, that have tried to pull the veil over your eyes in some way or another. And more importantly, see through those, confront the illusions, confront the confusion, speak and ask for clarity in a lot of ways. But biggest thing is focus on your path forward, especially with Uranus, especially with Saturn, and especially with Pluto. They're going to help you with resolving these financial tensions, but it's through an opportunity that's tied to your worth, to your career, in such a beautiful way, especially this week with all these aspects going on. I mean, each day is exciting, but in this day in particular, with this kite formation, this is one where it's really truly going to be important to focus on your path forward, use your tools, leverage your resources, and trust your intuition. Take small steps. It's not about coming in and finding the easy solution that basically comes from you paying for everything or bailing somebody out. At the macro level, like I say, everyone's going to feel this tension. What comes to mind in a lot of ways, if you've been watching the housing market, so in a lot of ways, we're all encountering this aspect where if you're not part of the 1% and 2% that have grossly benefited since COVID in a lot of ways, and I dare to say the word, but the O word, oligarchy, has really had a big uptick, a big benefit since COVID, right? What I'm seeing now, at least in my area and in the states nearby, is that particularly when it comes to taxes. So living expenses, rent increases have been going up and really taking advantage of a lower income population, the majority of the population that are renters, in a way where rent increases. You're seeing even with tariffs, your daily needs, I guess is how I would put it. So gas, food, your living expenses. We've all seen the uptick, but we haven't seen it matched when it comes to salary, right? Unless you're in that 2%, which then, of course, you guys have been seeing wonderful things. Sorry, bad witty humor. But either way, what comes to the mind at a macro level is big bank bailouts in a lot of ways, or looking at who's really benefiting from a big, beautiful bill if you're in the States. What I'm seeing in the housing market as well in my area, across states, like in my area, in our whole region, is that like you may feel like if you're on the renting side that to own a home might be better. But what we're also really starting to see is with inflation in the States, another thing is that it's with inflation that benefits the state taxes as well. It benefits the what happens, or what's happening, I should say, is that housing reassessments for property taxes have gone up because of inflations. So when you look at houses that are for sale, in some areas, you're seeing taxes go up. Their property taxes go up 50%, 75%. I've even seen 90%. And even scarier, it's hitting the not 2%, but lower. I guess it is even hitting them to a degree. Like one of them that was most shocking. So I watch the housing market pretty regularly. There was 2 houses that I saw just within this last week. One is this beautiful, don't get me wrong, they're both beautiful estates. One is currently being sold for, I want to say $1.2 million, which, yes, well above my price range, right? Let's just be real about this. However, I was shocked to see the tax history. So 2 years ago, just 2 years ago, the taxes on this $1.2 million property, which at that point was trying to be sold for $1.7 million, was at, their property taxes were $7,000 some odd dollars. 2 years now from there, not only have they dropped the price by $500,000, their property taxes have gone up to $30,000. Sit with that for a moment. On the other one that I saw, this property, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was beautiful. It was on 6 acres right on the river in a different state, yes. However, it was going up for auction. And I understand why, because looking at their tax history, same thing. Their taxes 3 years ago were $8,000 for 6 acres riverfront. And this was a castle, I'll be real. It was actually really beautiful. It was designed literally as a stone castle. Not a huge home, 3 bedroom, 3 bath. I mean, it's still big. On 6 acres, still big. But when you're looking at property, like, it's kind of like, that's not, I mean, it could be bigger, I guess. I mean, it was in the country, is what I'm trying to say. So it could be bigger. More importantly, this property, they allowed it to go into foreclosure. Now it's up for auction. Now the bank is trying to sell it. When you look at the property taxes, 3 years ago, same thing. They were at $8,000 some odd dollars. Now they're at $28,000. And these are 2 different states that these properties were in. Let that sink in. I know everybody's feeling that. I know especially the middle class is feeling it. But now higher incomes are also starting to experience that, because I'm sorry, but $30,000, $28,000 on taxes just for 1 year. Inflation is impacting more than just your living expenses when it comes to your gas, your food, your rent. To own a property is almost becoming just as unrealistic as inflated rental prices, depending upon where you are. There's a reason why they say there's a housing crisis, and it's hitting all fronts. So at a macro level, more importantly, getting back to this kite, you will start to see a lot of these aspects really coming to light. But again, it's got grounding with these very creative wings, with this dynamic tension. It's very much at a macro level tied to finances as well, and transformation. So and it's tied to Libra in so many great ways: balance, harmony, diplomacy. So this is where you'll really start seeing at a macro level these ideas, like with blurred buyouts, big bank bailouts is what really comes to mind. Just saying. You'll start to really see how people are looking at leveraging resources, how things are being voiced, coming to light, and more importantly, how are we going to solve it? Through diplomacy, through how we work together, through realizing, if you follow the money, who benefits. Are we truly invoking change that benefits everyone? Because now we're not just impacting the lower incomes. People that have more monetary avenues, I guess, to influence, how do they put that? Lobbyists will also start to make or be positioned, inspired, if you will, to really start finding a way or question if there's a better way. So this kite transformation is truly grounding. Some things are going to hit home. There's a dynamic tension, especially with authenticity. Who's impacted? And it's invoking a creativity when it comes to wealth accumulation, financial management, marketing, in so many different ways. And if all that resonates, like I say, I know I said a mouthful, I went into it. Be prepared. When Mercury enters Libra, he's coming in with a bang in such a beautiful way in the second house of worth, for us Virgos in particular. But everyone is going to feel this kite. So if all that resonates, by all means, put a heart in the comments below. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, so that we can elevate this message and share the knowledge. Because truly, the gift that each and every one of us has is the wisdom to pass and to share so that we can all rise up, all collectively find win-win creative solutions that benefit everyone, not just 2%, but literally everyone on board. So going into the tarot here as well, this is where Libra's coming in with a lot of balancing, universal balance, karma, rewards, gifts, receiving, financial opportunities, problem solving, grounding creativity. It's tied to, as you can see, a balance of equitability. There's generosity, there's reciprocity, and what's inspiring it truly is that things are coming to light with financial tensions. Just putting it simple. Pluto is empowering the well-being, and as you can see, it's going to help with balancing scales. Also, though, with Saturn, especially with the retrograde going on, with partnerships being highlighted in the 7th house, this is where it's also going to be illuminating. Remember, in order to build, we've got to tear down first. Same thing like renovating a house. There's a demo day, right? Conflict, disharmony, opposition, arguments, imbalances in relationships will also be coming to light as part of the tension, the dynamic balance, before we start looking at how we can build up and restore. If you think about it, it's kind of like a rubber band. When you stretch a rubber band at a certain point, when it reaches its pinnacle of flex, it either snaps and it breaks, or it snaps back and restores its original shape. So that's my little Easter egg with it. And if that resonates, by all means, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, because we're not done yet. But the biggest thing at a micro level, just remember, focus on your path, confront illusions or confusion, use your tools, leverage your resources, trust your intuition, and take small steps. Every step is one step forward, even if it's to the side, even if it's backwards, to allow you time to reflect. But either way, it brings the ability to reconstruct and restore balance. But on the 19th, before I keep ruminating over the 18th here, Venus, and I'll do a separate read on this as well. I am so excited. So Venus is going to be entering Virgo in our first house. So with this energy, Venus, our heart's desires, are coming home to our first house, self, identity, our long-term goals, how we go after it, right? I'll do a separate read on Virgo in the first house, Venus in Virgo in the first house. But on the 19th, as soon as she changes signs, the moon will also be in Virgo. Venus is in Virgo, and they are both squaring off with Uranus, which, remember, Uranus is in retrograde now in Gemini in our 10th house. So it's looking back at all the changes in career, and it's giving you some reflection time. This square between the moon, Venus, and Uranus is a call for new directions in such a big way. It's going to push you to reconcile your need for personal perfection, and it's also going to do that with unexpected, innovative changes in your career, which may lead you to embrace a completely new way of seeing yourself and a completely new way of seeing your future. You may feel compelled to adapt changes in your life or adopt changes in your life path. And through all of that, it may feel challenging. So with all things with change does come challenge, but it may create some anxiety just with that. So I just want to forewarn you, because Uranus is going to shake some things up. The biggest thing to remember, though, is it's your heart's desires getting some shakeup, your life path, and you're pouring your heart into it. It's emotional. So it's going to push you to break routines, break a mold. The biggest thing. Change doesn't have to be bad. It's just uncomfortable. So that's the biggest thing just to remember, right? This change is going to break a mold right out of the water, like in such a big way. And don't be surprised that it's going to create a pivot towards a more exciting endeavor and direction that will create some major growth and major realignment, major alignment with your heart's desires in such a beautiful way. It's going to be fast though. With the Eight of Wands, this is acceleration, approaching your goals. Fast action, involving communication, an incoming message, good news, being unrestricted. It's going to be liberating in a lot of ways as well. This is also too where it's going to be standing in your alignment with your authenticity, with your truth, with that Sagittarian energy. Also too, this is speaking to a lot about Mercury. Remember, Mercury and Libra, balancing the scales in your second house of worth. A lot of it's going to require movement. It's victory though. You're going to be headed in the right direction, putting into action with momentum when it comes to breakthroughs. Also too, self-control. Just remember, change can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be bad. If you're feeling that anxiety, just breathe through it and remember, feel through it as well. Embrace that. Embrace the fear of the unknown. Acknowledge the fear. Nurture it in the way of give it care when it comes to that Cancerian energy. It's okay to feel uncomfortable and it's okay to be afraid of change. What it's going to do though is open you up in a lot of ways by acknowledging and caring for yourself during that time, by showing that fearsome love with your solar plexus, because that's all about knowing that you are enough. You always have been, you always will be, and with this inspiration, this change of breaking the mold, this is where you're able to really be empowered to know that you are strong and you're capable. It's got a lot of ties, though, to embracing that hidden wisdom, embracing the mystery. So now is the time to really embody your empowerment. Now, just to forewarn you as well, because we've got double sevens here. So this is a personal challenge of embracing hidden wisdoms, of embracing the unknown, and embracing innovation with that Aquarian energy, with your heart's desires, with pivoting and doing it with adaptability, especially when it comes to your heart. It's going away from norms, right? Also, too, with all the illumination that Saturn is doing in our partnership house, right? If there were any betrayals, deceptions, ulterior motives, schemes, feeling outcast or isolated because you're trying to speak truth, right? Standing in your truth. This is where you're shining a light on that moon and you're letting the tower fall. In the tower, basically, you're letting whatever wasn't built on stable ground fall to the wayside so that you can rebuild on a stable foundation that really is an epiphany. It's growth. It's overthrowing misconceptions, right? It's looking at what needs to change and making sudden change, but doing it in a way with Mars action, right? With Libran action as well. With that second house being highlighted of worth, going after what's yours, taking that movement and claiming it. And again, the 16 reduces to a 7. It's disruption. It's release of pent-up feelings where you've been accepting less than what you deserve and really owning up, embracing your inner desires and following your intuition in a very, very big way. But also, too, doing it with fire in your belly, with that lion energy, with that Venus energy. And remember, I'll do a separate reading on Venus and Virgo because it's going to be very grounding when it comes to aligning you in your authenticity. No, before we go, that didn't need to happen there. Let's do that again. Before we go, let's also look at our spirit animal totems for some additional guidance. Because like I say, this week has got a lot to do with finances. It's got a lot to do with really claiming your self-worth. But there is a call for a new direction in a very beautiful way. And it's really, truly meant to rise you up and realign you to something that is truly, not only do you have, hold most dear, but also, too, that you align to partnerships that hold you dear. So right away, we pulled a mouthful here. I'll try and go through all these, but really it's claiming your happiness with a sea otter, right? Being the master of playful living and releasing expectations, letting go of the worry and choosing love instead, and surrendering to your destiny. This is also about embracing, being aware with the coyote of the tricks and the traps, right? Being allowed to laugh at your own folly, but also learning to take the discernment with you from the lessons that you learn. And also, too, with the coyote, It really is looking at making key decisions, trusting your intuition, especially when it comes to business partnerships, your commitments, and making sure that they're on a solid foundation. But this is also about embracing the magic of your transformation, your wisdom, knowing that when you follow your discernment, your intuition, and let go of the past, let go of any type of victim mentality as well, that you're disempowered, and instead claim your power. This is where you walk into a world and a doorway of blessings. This is where you're able to sing your song of healing, inner navigation. Nothing can stop you or keep you from your goal when you're aligned with your purpose and your power. With the miracles as well, with the hummingbird, this is about being a joy bringer, raising that vibration, right? Soaring on shining wings of positivity and of love. So this is the week. If you need to ground, meditate, it's all about your frequency. Follow your intuition, your deepest values. This is also where you're standing in your independence. So with the cat, it really is about following your intuition, but knowing that you're a natural healer. Don't go with the crowd. Life supports you and gives you everything that you need when you align to your authenticity. And Spirit's got your back with that. I'm just saying, with the cat, any worry, any anxiety with change that comes through in this week, just know that you are not alone and you are supported. Now, before we go as well, I just want to look at our major arcana. So what we pulled with music therapy is C, D sharp, G sharp, and D. And then color therapy, what we pulled is red. I mean, look at this. You're on fire. Red, orange, and indigo. It's got a lot to do with your creative flow. It's going to lead you to a solid foundation. And also, it's about connecting with your divine right, your crown. So, I truly hope this reading helps. I hope you have a wonderful week. Take care, and I will see you in the next reading.